Hello, everyone. It is your girl Darlie from the Weird Skin podcast. I know you might notice that things are a little bit different. Usually I'm here with Drew, but this time I just wanted to, make a quick video by myself just to see, you know, what it is and how it is. Usually on this channel and on the podcast, we review movies, but sometimes we talk about miscellaneous things as well. But right now, we're just gonna talk about. I'm just gonna be by myself because things have been a little bit hectic, and we haven't made a video in a few weeks now, so it's just like things have been hectic. We're just been trying to get things together, but yeah, Drew also has his own stuff that he's doing, and he's been working on that as well. So, yeah, I just wanted to come in and stop by and make a video about the movie Candyman. And this is the 2021 Candyman, the second. I didn't realize my collar was just like not out, but it doesn't matter. The movie that I'm gonna be reviewing is Candyman, the 2021 Candyman, the sequel to the first 1992 Candyman. First things first, overall, I think the movie was, I have my notes here. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I have my notes here. Just, if you see me keep looking down, you're going to see me referring to my notes. But, first things first, after watching the film, I felt like the movie was a great sequel, to the first one. I felt like it just followed the story very well. And I like how they tied in a lot of modern day issues in the film as well, but we're going to get into that. First things first is that you definitely have to watch the first one if you want to understand the second one a little bit, because they do tie in quite a few things from the first film into the second one. It's definitely a very creative sequel. All right, so this film does tie in a lot of modern day issues that are currently happening, such as gentrification. If you don't know what gentrification means, it's basically when a neighborhood that had a minority group, where it was mostly a minority group living in there, and then white people come in and take over that neighborhood and drive that minority group out. Most times it's with black neighborhoods. And in this film, it was a black neighborhood. The movie is based in Chicago, and they called the projects and the film the Cabrini Green projects, and it got gentrified. They rebuilt a lot of stuff around there, where they did keep parts of the old projects still in the film, but surrounding areas is just everything is just basically brand new. So basically, it starts off with the main character, Anthony McCoy. And if you know the last name McCoy, keep that thought in there. Anthony McCoy is the main character of the film, and he's an artist. And he is dating a woman. I don't know what the title of this job is, but so basically she organizes a lot of art shows and events in different art galleries. And she's dating Anthony. I don't know. I don't remember the girl's name that she's dating. I don't know why I can't remember her name. I should have wrote that down. But they're dating, and they're basically navigating himself as the artist. One thing to point, since you remember the last name McCoy, yes, Anthony McCoy is the baby from the first film. So this is 30 years later. So Anthony McCoy is around 30 years of age, and as time goes on, right, throughout the film, he's trying to come up with new ideas for his art, because different people are contacting him about his art, because he hasn't been creating art as of recently. So different people were contacting him about, hey, when are you gonna create something new, blah 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 blah. So he was trying to find ways and different things for his art and to be inspired to do art. Finally, he gets his hands on the story of Candyman and wanted to base his art off of Candyman. And then that's when he notices all these things that was happening to him, seeing the bees, like especially from the first film, and everything is just like affecting him, and he doesn't understand why, because he doesn't know that he was the baby, and he doesn't know his true origins. But we find that out throughout the film. We also find out that Candyman can be passed like from person to person. So it's basically like an ancestral Candyman thing going on. So I like how they tied in gentrification, the ancestral, and different passing on the basically torch of being Candyman, because that's what Candyman wanted to do. He wanted to take him as a baby to like pass it on essentially, but he doesn't know that. Nobody knows that. They also tie in Black storytelling and the role of the griot, because it was already hard for him to find the information about the projects and about his origins and where he came from, because he was told that he was born in a different part of Chicago and not in the Cabrini Green project, so that he wouldn't find out about him being a sacrifice to Candyman. So I thought that was really, really creative that they tied in that. And the mom, who basically lost the baby in the first movie, she came back and was basically like apologizing to him after all the crazy stuff that was happening, especially when people repeat Candyman's name in the mirror, things happen. So she basically was she said that the main reason why she didn't tell him about anything was because she wanted to protect him. And yeah, that was basically that. But they did tie in and briefly show real cases from history, especially about I don't know if you heard the case of a 14-year-old boy in the South. He was the youngest to be executed in his state for basically R-wording a white girl. So that was, and he ended up being executed, and he was the youngest to be executed ever. And people didn't really like grasp about his age, especially people who were prosecuting him, that to the fact that he used his own Bible to sit down in the electric chair to get shocked. And it was crazy. But they did tie in that story a tiny bit. They briefly mentioned it, but if you know about the case, then you would know when you see it. Of course, Jordan Peele had his little orchestral touches in the film, and you can see his usual, what's the word I'm looking for? His usual signature in the film, the aesthetic and the vibe from the film. And again, if you watched the previous video about our Nope review, that me and Drew are avid Jordan Peele fans. So yeah, it was just interesting to see his signature aesthetically pleasing things throughout the film as well. And the symbolism throughout the film, like the bees, and then the bees in the film that's symbolizing Candyman, of course. And then we have generations of Black music throughout the film, which was a great touch from, I don't remember how old the oldest form of music, but it did tie in with some modern day music as well. So that was great. Another thing that they definitely briefly touch on the film is trauma, especially Black trauma. We found out that Anthony McCoy's wife or partner in the film also experienced trauma of her own, seeing her father commit suicide. And and then the reason why Candyman came about was because, he was lynched by a mob, and he took that hate, and whenever people did recite the name, anybody would get killed. But Anthony McCoy's role as Candyman was that don't just start killing anybody, just kill specific people, especially white people. He had to kill, the palm-colored people throughout the film. Well, that's his role as Candyman. I think they also touch on the starving artist, which was also interesting because people, again, he was doing shows and stuff like that, and it wasn't until all these bad things started happening that people started recognizing him as an artist. And it also goes back to like, oh, when an artist dies, that's when they make the most money because people are more interested in their work, that they're no longer here and they're trying to figure things out. So it was interesting to see an artist basically being mentioned while they're alive and people and getting recognition, and he was also hoping to get that recognition too as well. So I believe it was a really, really good film. They tied in cases from history, the symbolism, gentrification. They even touch on police brutality in the film as well. I don't want to completely talk about the entire movie, even though it's been a year since it's come out. But if you haven't seen the movie yet and wasn't sure about seeing this movie because it's a quote unquote remake, it's not a remake. It's definitely a sequel. I'm letting you know that as well. I feel like it is worth watching. It's a very creative sequel, and it definitely ties in everything from the first movie. I definitely give this movie a 10 out of 10. I feel like the plot was clear. Everything was clear. Some things were definitely relatable that happened. Modern day things happening. So, yeah, that is my quick review of the movie Candyman, the 2021 sequel of the first film. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out.